Let's have a look now at pure competition and talk about some of the relationships that are central to this, particularly as we work our way toward discovering how firms in purely competitive industries maximize profit. And one of the important relationships to know about pure competition, among others, such as an undifferentiated product, that is, all the goods are the same in the industry, there's ease of entry and exit of firms, in other words, low barriers to both entry and exit. There are a number of characteristics that your text lays out, but one of the key ones that I want to highlight is this idea of firms being price takers. These are price taker firms. In other words, the firm takes the price as given, as is dictated by the market. That is the intersection of market demand and market supply. And in the next video, I'll highlight how this relationship looks graphically. But I want to focus on this important relationship of price equaling marginal revenue, because it is a unique concept only applicable to pure competition. And it's an important one, and also it sort of lays the groundwork for how these firms determine over time their optimal output. Optimal being the best case scenario, that of maximize economic profit where possible. So let's just do this. Let's say that the firm takes a price as given in the market, and it's $5. And the firm has no control of the price. The firm is a price taker, and as a result can produce any amount of quantity, but will still take $5. In fact, there are so many firms in these particular industries that no one firm coming in or leaving or limiting their production or boosting their production does anything at all to the market price. The price is given, and so it can produce any amount of output, and I've just randomly chosen some output levels, but they all correspond to a price of $5. And then the total revenue is the product of both price and quantity. Any kind of a good, if I have 5 apples, I sell at $5 each, then my total revenue is $25, or revenue is a dollar figure, okay? So let's take some scenarios here. Price times quantity always equals total revenue, so that's the relationship that we can highlight here within those columns. So at 5 units of output, at $5 each, we have $25 of revenue. 5 times 5 is 25. If the firm were to dial it up to the next level of 10 units of output, then at the same $5, the revenue would now go to $50. And what I want to do with marginals is I want to do what is often done by economists to express what we call marginal changes, incremental changes. And that is that the technical definition of marginal revenue is the change in total revenue divided by the change in quantity. In other words, it's also sort of described as being the amount of revenue that a firm will earn from the next unit of output. But again, as I mentioned in the prior video, it's also the next 10 units, 15 units, whatever. It's simply by extension. And so the change in anything is simply new minus old, and that's something we've seen before. The change in anything is new minus old. So simply put, we'll say this is level 1, level 2, 3, 4, and we can take this very same formula as we go from one incremental level of production to the next, from 5 to 10, from 10 to 20, from 20 to 40. And so let's do the math then and determine what the marginal revenue is as we go from 5 to 10 units of output. So we take the new total revenue of 50 minus the old total revenue of 25, divided by the new quantity of 10 minus the old quantity of 5. And what do we get? 50 minus 25 is 25, over 10 minus 5 is 5, and so as a result we get marginal revenue is 5. And we can carry this analysis to the next level of output as we go from 10 to 20, where now the revenue was once 50, now it goes to 100, so now this level is the new level of output and revenue, and so we have change in total revenue, which is new minus old, 100 minus 50, divided by the change in quantity, which is 20 minus 10, and the math here I think is relatively straightforward. 100 minus 50 is 50, over 10 is 5. So maybe you can see where we're going with this, and then we'll take it one step further just to sort of illustrate what's happening here. Let's say we now go from 20 units to 40 units of output, which means that 5 times 40 is $200 of revenue. So now that becomes the new total revenue, minus the old total revenue, divided by the new minus old quantities. And so we end up with 100 over 40 minus 100 over 40 minus 20 is 20. And we get 5. And so, as a result, what do we have? We have a price of 5 and a marginal revenue of 5. Price of 5, marginal revenue is 5. And so we can say, with a high degree of confidence, that in pure competition, price equals marginal revenue, meaning that marginal revenue is identical to the price, The only decision as to revenue and its relationship to profit is how much to produce. And that's the subject of the next video as we show what it looks like to illustrate a firm in perfect competition attempting to maximize